Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 42nd episode of the Cultist Simulator Priest Legacy DLC, playing as Harold Davidson. So, in the previous episodes, we have been working towards yet another Lockscar. Now, this is a bit of a fraught enterprise now, because we're down to 2 health, and of course, taking another Lockscar, you know, it's all well and good as far as achieving goals, but we're going to have 1 health left over by the end of this. The kind of catalyst for this decision was the fact that we've got the Lionsmith's names right now, and we do have a restlessness. I'm kind of counting on the improvised moth sermon doing what it's intended to, but we'll see how that turns out. Now, before we go any further, what I want to do right now is start an expedition, because we've got a bunch of summons, and ideally I'd like to throw them into the into expeditions before I lose them. So we'll move on to the Kuznetsov endowment. Prince Kuznetsov gave 1/4 part of his blood-soaked fortune to the establishment of a department for eschatology at this provincial university. The staff have grown peculiar now, and the buildings fester in a freezing swamp, but some of Kuznetsov's bequest, perhaps, was spent on treasures. So let's grab Azim and the Raw Prophet. Raw Prophet is something that has quite a bit of use for me, so I want to try and extend it as long as I can, and add a couple of funds. So obviously we're long past the days where we were worried about our ability to continue doing expeditions based on funding. We need 6 funds, and we've got 16 in reserve, or sorry, 19 in reserve. The journey to the endowment buildings is not long, but the ground is difficult. We have sent 3 times for permission to visit and received less friendly answers each time. No doubt the staff will attempt to forbid our entry. So this is probably going to be a case where we take advantage of Moth, although we have more than enough edge to be able to take out the Guardian. So we'll see how it turns out. In the meantime, we'll wait the 28 seconds. I'm really hoping that we do wind up with the Fervor, otherwise we are going to have to deal with the Restlessness, although at this point I think we could just let it decay to Dread and the Fascination will be dealt with. And then we do have a question about the Consciousness of Radiance turning into Fascination, but that sort of depends on... I guess it kind of depends on how everything else turns out, so... Alright, Course of the Heart. My own heart pumps more strongly today, and the clouds part, the wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers the despair, it's over for now. So let's just for a start... actually, I'm going to hang on to this fleeting reminiscence. I was thinking of getting rid of this fascination, but why not just wait for... wait for the long... Or actually, we've got more than one... fleeting reminiscence, so we'll get rid of this one through composure. It's worth noting we do have a season of sickness coming up, so I would have had a useful... Actually, we can still probably do this. We will try and take advantage of Phylaxian. So in this case, unfortunately, I'm going to have to get rid of Clovette. It would have been nice to have the erudition go away, but I'm actually going to take a second here. Nothing then. I want to try this healing option. It'll also allow me to preserve one of the percussicants. So, Phylaxian, if I speak with this one about my health, it can offer protection against disease. So we'll do that right now. Request a stay of execution. The residents of the Mansus are not subject to the ills of the flesh. Some of them, sometimes, can extend their protection to those of us trapped out here in the wake. So again, this is the first time I've actually tried this. It may be a foolish choice given where my health is, but... The Watchman, who is the door in the eye, waits in my dreams. If I learn the lantern lore and I dream of this temptation, I can advance my purpose. The need gnaws at me. Alright, good news. Exaltation. Sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. And the glory demands truth. When we are clad in lies, then it shall burn them from us. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So, right on the dawn of a season of sickness, I actually need 6.2 seconds. So this, I think I'll let this decay into Dread just because I have other ways of dealing with it. Not that I really have an option, but... Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So, we've got treacherous grounds, pits and cags, and sudden tumbles. The earth here cannot be trusted. We will need to be strong. We will need strong hands or clear sight, forge or lantern. Watchers, mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. And then a hidden door. So actually, it just occurred to me that I'm probably gonna run into the problem with the vitality anyway. We'll see how this works out. I prepared the text for study. All right. So let's go. Appointment at the parish. We'll use our last health. Take the Lionsmith's names, and finally the fervor. My people stand before me, voices raised in song, faces upraised, aflame. There are doors that few ever see, fewer yet ever open. If I'm willing to suffer the consequences, I might someday become one of those doors for my congregation to pass. Knock, and ye shall be opened. Let's take advantage of the study, so we'll read the Concursum diaries. The diaries of the explorer and murderer Lars Westergren. He's unhelpfully translated them into Frisian for privacy. Sorry, just got a message. Huh. Okay. There are map legends, and there are maps of legends, and there are legends of maps. Aspects of the Mansis subsist in all of these, in much the same way that you find water in a swamp, and in a cup, and in the sky. So I think what's going to happen here is the heart's going to get pulled out from the conversation with the Precussagant. Our devotion has drawn comment. Treacherous ground. Sucking mud, tricksy fishers. The earth is hungry. We'll need lantern to show a way, or forge to make one. So we've already got some oh, hang on, we don't already have some forge. I really blew it on this one. For some reason I thought I had the Callagine, but it was the Raw Prophet. So, let's bring along a forge follower in this. Well, I guess we have 3 of each, but we'll do forge. Actually, lantern is more helpful because that'll also help us get through the hidden door. The watchmen will lend virtue to our lamps, and they will show us the perils to avoid. Probably. Yeah, I kind of blew it on the last couple of turns. Alright, so bad luck for me on the health. Nothing. My words cease like sand in a glass. Definitely going to keep the dream slot open because I want to take advantage of this vitality. Normally I would bring up the... Oh, actually I have to do that now. Otherwise the fascination gets sucked up. So we have a bit of a delay in terms of getting that heart dealt with. Alright, the work of the threshold. The congregation is satisfied by my mortifications, but that divine spark is absent. To create a lock scar, you will need a rest. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, here we go. The deacon reads now from the book of St. Respicius. Bronze shapes, but heart labors. Hunger shows the red cup. And the sickness the snow. The lantern knows while moth understands, and the sword, when it comes, is its own answer. Oh, hang on. So I think this one is winter. So I was thinking bronze Spintrea, but that's probably the forge one. Oh, I really bungled this. So I feel like the injury is knock. Okay, so moth, grail, knock, forge. Wait, no, that still doesn't make sense. Moth, grail. So maybe the injury is the... Oh, I think I get it now. Bronze shapes, but heart labors. Hunger shows the red cup, sickness the snow. Lantern knows, while moth understands, and the sword when it comes is its own answer. So actually, do I really need an injury as well on this? Yeah, for some reason I thought that would be a knock. A knock one. But again, so again, if we want to make the association, so bronze shapes, forge, with a heart labor. Really want to put oh yeah, of course, vitality is for the heart. Okay, so bronze shapes, forge, but the heart labors, vitality. Hunger shows the red cup, hunger, and sickness the snow, affliction. The lantern knows, erudition, while moth understands, glimmering, and the sword when it comes is its own answer, injury, which we presently do not have. Westergren describes a series of expeditions into the Mansis. He focuses on the details of the experience, the colors, the vistas, the textures, rather than the practicalities. He does warn that the Mansis changes each year, although he assures the reader that the doors have been the same. Doors may close, but they never disappear. At least, not while there have been mortals in the Mansis. We're like mice. All right, let's move on. I am going to want to try and generate a restlessness at some point, but that's not really going to be happening through my study. So let's read the Gospel of Zacchaeus to meditate on the nature of knock. Lost early Christian text, or text, it's in Greek. Lock the study door, the work begins. I think for some reason I was associating this with the iron spintrea, which clearly is not right. But anyways, it's no point in dwelling on it. I have what I need to cure the disease, and I'll be able to give it a shot immediately afterwards. Oh, my summoning has been defeated. Our numbers dwindle. Expedition plans for the next challenge. Okay, so we will add Slee. So the Grail option on the Watchers is closed off, but that's fine because we'll have another Moth. This illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I am fully recovered. Cure your affliction with vitality. So we don't have enough for the winter, but we'll be fine. Our devotion has drawn comment. All right. And it is banished or destroyed. I wonder if I add Sylvia, if we have a higher chance of generating a restlessness. The air is curdled now. I am home again in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. So we'll take the affliction and the vitality. I kind of need that immediately, so all I need now is time. Season of Ambition's coming up, so that's helpful for us. Nothing. My words cease like sand in a glass. Call upon the watchman who navigates. The watchman will clear our sight so that we can almost certainly pass without error. Excuse me. So we're going to need to add two funds before the end of this. I've suffered. Perhaps I have not suffered enough. My restlessness is assuaged. My congregation is satisfied. But that is all. To create a lock scar, you will need a restlessness, at least a 10th level lore, and a particular discipline of body or spirit which matches that lore. You can only have one of each type of scar. So we have our injury. We have our appointment. We have our funds. But that's all. So, going to take some time. So I got to think about what I want to do with the work verb. Got 46 seconds. I think we'll just leave it be. I am going to need to heal this injury at some point. Actually, with that in mind, conversation with a heart follower is in order. I prepared the text for study. All right, moving along. So normally I would use health and study verb to get the vitality for healing, but I don't have any health anymore. So the Gospel of Zacchaeus, an extremely heterodox account of the Nazarene Messiah and his works, describing his ascension to the mansus through the opening of his body. 7 were the wounds of his body, 7 the doors of the house, 7 the lesser aspects of the hours, and knock the aspect above all, for the mother of ants is the mother of salvation. So in an emergency, I can use funds for the injury, but I have something else I need to get done with this injury first. Safe across treacherous ground. We're mud-spattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. Okay, so we're on our way to getting our restlessness. It's a season of silence, so I'm a bit lucky as far as any health demands. In retrospect, I might have been able to get by with like a painting or something like that, but it's too late now. Okay, sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Alright, there's the restlessness. So, but I need the fervor. What on earth have I been doing with my time? Okay, 100 seconds, but the restlessness is going to get taken up. So got a couple of cheats that I can do with the restlessness. Logistical difficulties. Supplies are low. Unless I send more funds, we'll have to abandon the expedition. Did we get past a... Yep. Okay. Got to keep that health available. I can't talk about the restlessness. I just have to use it as an input to something, so... The book includes a description of a rite which can be used to raise a corpse to half-life in memory of he who bled for the wood. It requires a corpse and sufficient power. The author suggests an invocation of winter lore and an assistant touched by the powers of the wood. So we already have the rite of... Oh, no, sorry, we don't have the rite of Mother's Mercy. The assistant is offered in sacrifice to the mother of ants, but the mother knows healing as well as poison, and she will be merciful, accepting the substitute of a lesser offering. Usually. The experience is not reassuring for the assistant. Just taking the chance to realign some of the cards. Okay. To study, one must generally sit quite still. Restlessness is rarely the ally of scholarship. I suppose if I wanted, I can go back through this stag door. I'll brood on the restlessness for a bit. So we're definitely playing with fires. Oh, nope, still gotta wait on the health. Yeah, we're definitely playing with fire on a couple of these. Strength is matchless. The Watchers will almost certainly regret standing against us. In this case, I'll take the opportunity to add more funds. Okay, and we got a contentment coming up, so I'm a little safe. And vitality. Lucky me. Optimism is the spice which saves. Okay, is there anything I want to do with my talk verb right now? Let's keep working on those... keep working on those reputation. Glory demands truth. When we are clad in lies, then it shall burn them from us. So normally there's the exaltation event that pops up. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we did get the fervor, which is really important. So here we go. Fervor, health, Lionsmith's name. My people stand before me, voices raised in song, faces upraised, aflame. There are doors that few ever see, fewer yet ever open. If I am willing to suffer the consequences, I might someday become one of those doors for my congregation to pass. Knock, and ye shall be opened. Aha! Okay, so we're going to talk about my injury for a bit. Just to, I mean, this is at least thematic. We're talking with Clovette to extend the life of the injury. But yeah, there would have been consequences if I... Like I said, I've been really bungling this this particular one. In the mountains as upon the plain. In the mountains as upon the plain, there may not be... Wait, this is Vac. Wrong. The 26 enticements, 7 torments. The painter, Niels Fredrik Malsker, notoriously attempted a series of paintings based on the torments. By the 5th torment, the demands of the painting had grown so dire that he died of blood loss. The diagrams in this text are thankfully less detailed. Lock the study door, the work begins. The Watchers end. Their blood pumps bright, then dark. They should not have opposed us. We move on. Okay, this vitality is going to help us very soon. And I think this trembling heat... I'll take it, but I don't think I'm actually going to be able to use it for the thing I wanted it for. Gearby was weeping again. I scooped up his molten tears in my cupped palm. In the dream, my skin peeled and blistered, but only in the dream. And we're going to go back through the stag door again. Expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So we're looking for the hidden door. That's already taken care of with the lantern. We don't have any curses or anything either, so there's nothing else to be added for now. Alright, and we've got another season of ambitions coming up, so clearly we just need to find a... clearly we just need to find the winter lore, and we're ready to give up our last health, right? Okay. The deacon reads from the book of St. Respicius. Bronze shapes, but the heart labors. Hunger shows the red cup, and the sickness the snow. The lantern knows while moth understands, and the sword, when it comes, is its own answer. In the vision, my wound has 7 branches, and each branch 7 more, and each of those branches 7 heads. In the vision, each head is severed one by one who uses scars as weapons. He hands each head to St. Agnes, where she waits with her candle, and with each mutilation my agony increases. I've prepared the text for study. The enticements of the Grail outnumber its torments, but its torments are its final nature. Birth is the first torment, and thirst the 7th. Call upon the watchman who illuminates. We'll almost certainly find this hidden door. Optimism is a spice which saves. So another vitality, which is not bad for us. And I think we're just going to toss Clovette in one more time, see if we can help clean up the notoriety. Well, I guess we'll have to do it 2 more times because of what we get from this expedition. Pay attention to the hours is drawn to the bloodiest wars. Afterwards, the history are blurred like hair. There is a great chamber in the mantis through which the painted river flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly, there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. So we've got more than enough in terms of forbidden epics, but I've been handling other factors. Now, we're not going to use the dream slot because I'm going to need to use that presently. Our devotion has drawn comment. So whether the notoriety or the mystique gets picked up, I'm kind of indifferent because we will want to get rid of this mystique, and this notoriety will go away in about a minute. Actually, I'd probably prefer to get rid of the mystique if I'm completely honest. Faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. Okay, Season of Suspicion coming up, so even more valuable if we can get rid of this notoriety. My congregation have waited all night in vigil. I am awake. My wound is closed. The scar remains. Alright, so an edge lock scar. When I am threshold, this scar will open beneath a blade's touch. And funds. So, first priority, we gotta cure that injury. Otherwise, if a season of sickness comes, we are in deep trouble. All I need now is time. Now, as far as the work slot is concerned, there's a couple things that I can do. I have a feeling this isn't going to help me, but... And then we would want heart. So Forge is the aspect that transforms and destroys. If I add Knock, I might be able to attempt a summoning. If I have grown decrepit, then if I add Grail, perhaps I could renew my body. Actually, if it's just Grail and... Let's give this a shot. So Forge's Redemption with at least 5 Forge and 1 Grail. I could use the forbidden procedure known as Forge's Redemption, to return decrepitude to health. So in this case, we will bring in an assistant as well. So the Thakic is 8. So we'll bring in Laidlaw. Minor. The Forge of Days destroys and renews. I will invoke it with the Grail to renew my failing flesh with forbidden magics. You're recalling only a minor degree of Forge, and this will often fail. Increase Forge to at least 10. Oh wait, I've got an easier answer to this. So we put Laidlaw back. We put Rhaenyra in, and we will use our Khalidate invocation for the Major. Forge of Days destroys and renews. I will invoke it with the Grail to renew my failing flesh with forbidden magics. You are calling on a major degree of Forge, so the rite will probably succeed. Increase your Forge to at least 15 to improve your chances further. So, of course, I would have liked to have used the higher level of Forge, but in this case here, this is the best that I've got right now, and I'd rather take a shot with it at the moment. So there's the decrepitude. In 1 minute, we'll find out whether or not that turned out. I believe that will also generate a notoriety, but I'll live. Or maybe I won't. Through the enumeration of the Grail's enticements and torments winds the sorrowful history of the witches of the dry land, the ordeal of birth from 2 wombs, their struggle from and supplication of the Grail, the yearning for union which drives them all. So we've got the formula voluptuous. This helps us out. Now, it is maybe worth mentioning here, so I believe in the previous episode I had said I didn't think it was possible to get dread from a Grail text, or at least you wouldn't think so, but of course, reading the description of 26 Enticements, 7 Torments, it's maybe not a surprise we got a dread from there, but certainly I wasn't anticipating that dread. We don't have a season of despair coming up, though, so we're fine, but just it's good to keep myself honest in terms of my knowledge and memory of these things. Catalogue of Uncharted Pleasures. The Dark Gentleman is the only and rather grandiosely identified author of this often copied work. Now, some of you may remember what the requirement for Grail was, and that actually, it's a little bit of a tricky one for me to handle, so we're going to leave that one aside. Of course, we also need to wonder where the health for all of this is going to be coming from. But we'll carry on. We'll translate the Frisian. Obviously, the knock is one that we're going to need to be waiting probably the longest on. But we have a few other options available to us for the next little while. Lock the study door. The work begins. Treasures lie before us. Okay, this could be good news. And I know I'm going over time a little bit, but I'd just like to finish off the Forge's Redemption, see where we stand. Word's End. The library ceiling collapsed years ago. Many of the books have been reduced to swollen pulp by dripping water. Something must remain. Optimism is the spice which saves. So we're probably going to get caught by the Suppression Bureau in this case, but let's see how it goes. I suspect the notoriety is going to sink me. Oh, Mystique. Okay. The Forge of Days has failed me, or I have failed it. This magic has brought me only nightmares and peril. All right, well, that makes life rather difficult. So let's give this... I think I'm actually just going to give this a shot again right away. So I at least have a health to work with. So I've got a couple of options available here. We've got the Xanthotic Essence. Actually, you know what? Let's use this. This should give me a better chance. So we use the Rite of the Mother's Mercy. We can toss the Xanthotic Essence. That's Saliba. And the Khalidate Invocation. So we're up to 16 now. The Forge of Days destroys and renews. I will invoke it with the Grail to renew my failing flesh with forbidden magics. Okay, and on that note, we will see if I have any more luck. Now, this is going to be a little awkward as far as the dread and the restlessness. I am going to need to think a bit about how I'm going to deal with all of that, but I have at least 49 seconds. So another cliffhanger for us. Another thing to think about, so I've already what you've seen now are basically all of the individual components of how we're going to achieve victory, how we're going to get the remaining lock scars. What I have tried to do, though, is I've tried to present them in isolation. So for those of you who've not yet done the priest, and perhaps for some of you who have struggled with the priest, you can try and think back to all of the individual steps that we've taken. One thing that you may want to keep in mind is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lock scars. So these used to be health. We've got a 5th for health, and we've got a decrepitude, which normally you would think would come from health, which would imply that we've got 6 health. Now try and think about whether or not it's possible to get 6 health in the base game. I don't believe that's possible. I believe you can only go up to 5 through normal means, which would be when you have a matchless physique. And so, in fact, we've already got 1 more health than we thought. But again, depending on how closely you are watching or whether or not you know what to look for, it may not be obvious how that was achieved. And I'll definitely sort of take the wrapper off it and show exactly how that happened. But I wanted to leave that as a little bit of a mystery for you. I think in moving forward, we're going to make this a bit more explicit. But we will, of course, leave those for future episodes. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been enjoying the series and are not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you did enjoy this episode, feel free to leave a like. And I do enjoy reading comments from you. They do also help me get noticed on YouTube. We do live in the age of the algorithm. But of course, that is always just a nice thing to do. Certainly not a requirement. Like, comment, or subscription otherwise. I will be back tomorrow for the last episode of this week. Take care, have a good evening, and we'll see you then.